Go. Right, guys. Adrian Manyathelo here. Once again, we are live on Facebook right now. But if it's in any other media, it may be recorded. You might find the recorded stuff. But the topic for today is how to create the outcome you desire. Okay, how to create the outcome you desire. Uh, you know, two things really happened to my life that are very, very interesting, right? You see, when I begin to be conscious of life, right? I woke up to the fact that my mom was telling me a story, right? And this story was how when I was 2 years old, I was very ill. Now, this story is the story of my life, right? Okay, and I like telling it because although it's the story of my life, it's also your story. Uh, so at 2 years old, my mom told me I got very ill, and she decided to take me to the nearest clinic, but it was a walking distance. Nearest, but that time, those were the times when there were not much vehicles around that area, so she had to literally walk. So she tells me when she was walking to the clinic, uh, along the road, I began to lose my life. I began to faint. I was almost dying, right? And she says the way she got me to survive was to kneel down and feed and make sure that I drink the water from the puddles on the along the road, right? And every time she did that, then I would be a little bit stronger, and then she would continue walking until she arrived at the clinic where I was treated and I became okay. But the strange thing about this is that she would tell me this story anytime, right? I'll just come and say, Mom, uh, how should I study so that I can do very well in school? She just say, no, forget about that. Come here, let me tell you a story. Remember, we know many years ago when you were 2 years old, right? And then she would relate the story again to me. And I would come in and say, Mom, today I'm so tired, I just want to rest a little bit. She'll say, uh, before you rest, can you come over here and let me tell you a story? Many years ago, when you were 2 years old, you got ill, and I had to take you to the clinic. I had to walk all the way to the clinic. But somewhere along the way, you started to lose your breath, and I had to give you water from the puddles along the road. And she would keep on telling me this story. Literally, she would tell me this story. In the morning, she would tell me this story. Later on that morning, and at lunchtime, and in the afternoon, in the evening, she would be telling me the same old story, right? Until I got sick of the story, right? But this is very, very important. I want you to listen to me very, very carefully, okay? Because here lies the secret of life. Listen to me carefully. So she would tell me this story, and I would feel uncomfortable. Even to this day, right? When I go to see my mom, she would give me a few minutes to rest, and then she'd say, I remember when you were 3 years old. And she started relating the story again, right? Now, this story is very, very important, especially in the topic we are discussing, how to overcome, how to get the desire that you want, right? To overcome every obstacle so that you get the desire that you want, okay? So she would tell me that story, and then what really interested me most is that later on in life I decided to go to church. I was still in primary school, so I decided to go to church. When I go to church, I went to this church, and the pastor of that church was Amen, and Amen was teaching only one story, that was just about the prodigal son. He would teach the same story every Sunday we go there. I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of us sitting down, listening to the same story all the time. Well, I will not explain to you what the second story is all about, right? But the first story is very, very important because it teaches you about how to really get the desire or the outcomes that you desire in life, right? How do you really get it? Well, I want you to look at that story again and understand it very well, what my mom was trying to tell me, or was telling me, right? Because I like the way she told me, because the way she told me that thing, right? Although it was a short story, right? It became my life. Well, she didn't know that actually she was telling me about my life, but later on in life, I realized why she kept on repeating this story. Maybe it was God was making her tell me the story. I don't know. But here it is. So if you want to succeed in life, what do you do? Well, just like that time when my mom says I was losing my breath. The reason why I think my mom tells me the story, because you see, when I was losing my breath, right, she was watching me as a little baby, 2-year-old, fighting for my life, fighting for my life, fighting for my life. And she was wondering, what's wrong with this? What's happened to this boy, right? And although she can't tell the story, right, she saw it. And she just says it exactly as it took place. But, see, when you come to business, when you come to the desire of your life, unless you get into that mode in which I was in, the mode of just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, you will lose it all. You will lose it all. Unless you get in that mode of desiring it so bad. Like I desired for life! And I cried. And my mom was watching me. And I said, this boy will not die. This boy is strong! Unless you come to that mode concerning your desires, what you desire in life, you will miss it. So this is the principle of life. That's exactly why my mom kept on repeating the same story. Perhaps that's the same reason why Amen kept on repeating the same story week after week. So, my business partner is going to continue and teach you more about this story if you click on that link below this video or somewhere near this video. If it's not there, I'll be putting it there shortly. Okay? And listen to my business partner as he teaches you the whole entire thing that has really changed my life, that will change your life. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.